What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? In this audio, we're going to talk about BSOs and how to stay focused. But first, I'm going to give you a little background, a little story on how I arrived at this particular term and how it affected my business back then and how it affects it now. So, prior to me getting into life insurance, in another lifetime, I was a cable technician and I also was into internet marketing. So, I was doing internet marketing the early 2000s, 2004, 5, 6, I was doing internet marketing. And back then, the technology was not as robust as it is now. Back at those times, you had to create a website from scratch. PayPal was the new thing as far as how to sell a product and get paid. There was a website called the Warrior Forum. Now, the Warrior Forum is still around today, but it's much different than it was back then. Back then, a lot of the names you hear today, if you ever heard of Frank Kern and people like him, he and also who Alex Becker, all those guys, they used to be on the Warrior Forum back in the early 2000s. So back then, that's where all the internet marketers would congregate. They had a forum on there back in the early 2000s. This is before Facebook came out. MySpace was just getting popping. But Warrior Forum had an actual forum where you can comment, you can ask questions, and people will trade ideas, and people will sell products. And they used to call them WSOs, Warrior Special Offer. So you would pay to have a link, you would pay to have a post saying, hey, I got this new product, it's going to show you how to make money doing this and that. And you have a little PayPal button, and you would download the product. You'll pay for it, download it, and then they would also have people who would review the product. They say, hey, I reviewed the product, it's great, yada, yada, yada. It was like a whole cottage industry of people, internet marketers, who would just create products and they will sell them on the Warrior Forum as a Warrior Special Offer. Even I sold a couple of them on there back in the day. And of course, you had a lot of scammers too, but that was how we learned internet marketing back in the day, on sites like that. Article marketing, video marketing. So when I got into life insurance, the marketing part was very easy for me because I was already doing articles. I was writing articles already. I was already doing videos. I was already doing, back then it was either Windows Movie Maker if you had Windows, and I think Mac Movie Maker or iMovie back in the day. So we did that already. But what ended up happening is that people would just make up different products and it was regurgitated information. So a term popped up called BSO, which stands for Bright Shiny Object. And then we started calling it Bright Shiny Object Syndrome. So that would mean anytime you would buy a product and you're learning how to use it, you're learning how to write articles, you're learning how to set up the website. Then next week a new guy say, hey, I have a new product. It's gonna show you how to do this. It's gonna make more money. And then you start over again because you bought the new product. So every time a new product come out, something that's bright and shiny, you buy it and you continuously starting over. You're spending money, you're buying PDFs and videos that you're not gonna watch. So we call them BSOs, Bright Shiny Objects, and Bright Shiny Object Syndrome. And that's no different in the life insurance world. And again, I'm speaking specifically to solo life insurance agents. Whether you work solo in your home office or you have a physical office, you may work with a team through Zoom, but you're basically working by yourself. And unfortunately, we get promoted a lot of things. We get promoted new lead systems, new CRM systems, this way to do content, this new insurance carrier. You get shown so many different things that can get you off the path. And look, there's nothing wrong with getting contracted with new carriers, nothing wrong with trying out new lead systems, nothing wrong with trying out how to get leads through content marketing. There's nothing wrong with that. The problem is for some people is they can't say no. Every time they start a new path, they see a Facebook post, they see a YouTube video, they see some person promoting this new thing they're getting leads out the yin yang, and you think, man, I'm not getting enough leads already. Let me go try that out. and you spend the money, you start back over again, and you're not making any money. So what I'm gonna do is give you 4 ways to avoid BSO, Bright Shiny Object Syndrome, as a solo insurance agent. And this will save you a lot of money, save you a lot of time. So number one is, how steep is the learning curve? Every time you pick up a new carrier, you pick up a new software, you gotta learn how to use it. And some of these things have a short learning curve. You can spend the evening playing around with it, maybe 2-3 days, and you get the gist of it. Some of this software we're using now, it may take you a week to get comfortable using it. Not only that, you have to get comfortable putting this into your existing workflow. I'm gonna do another video about workflow, but if you have an existing workflow and you bring in a new carrier, a new piece of software, you have to integrate it. And how long would it take to integrate it? So if you're brand new in the business and you sitting there trying to learn how to sell insurance, and now you're learning how to do this other lead system, this other CRM, that's cutting into money making time. So, maybe you can devote time after hours to do that, but there's going to be a learning curve. And are you willing to sacrifice time in the field or on the phone to do the learning curve? So that's number one. Number two, will it duplicate or remove something I'm already doing? So I'm gonna use myself for an example. I do have a VoIP phone system in my office. I use Uma currently. It does what I needed to do. Ring Central is another option. I may switch over to them, but right now I currently use Uma. And before I had Uma, I had this eFax service I was using, because look, everything is still e-app based, but every now and then there are some carriers I've had that I had to send a fax. So I just got an eFax service. It was a couple bucks a month, and I used it. But when I realized that Uma included a fax line with the service, I didn't have a need to have an extra subscription for eFax. So I canceled it and just used Uma for making, I use Uma as an office phone. So if people want to call me and I don't really want to have them calling myself, my business cell phone, I give them my office number, and I just read the emails. But Uma throws in a fax number. So that allowed me to eliminate a service. So when you want to bring on a new service, a new software, new subscription, ask yourself, is this going to duplicate what I'm already doing? Is this going to eliminate a service I'm using? You got to ask that question. You don't want to just buy something that's going to do the same thing. You already got this doing the same thing. So when you think about buying a new service, a new carrier, even a new insurance carrier, some of these carriers a lot of these carriers are almost the same. The monthly premium may be $1 or $2 apart. Underwriting may be similar. Sometimes you may have too many carriers where it's just overlap. So that's a question you got to ask yourself. Is this, do I need this carrier? Is there a specific reason why carrier B can't do what this carrier I'm thinking about getting contracted can do? Those are questions you need to ask yourself. If I get this new lead system, will it work with what I'm doing already? Those are questions you have to ask yourself when it comes to Bright Shiny Object Syndrome. Don't buy it just because it's the newest thing. Buy it because you can see it removing the need for another service. So that's number two. Number three is, will it make me money quickly? Some of these things that you're going to see promoted on social media, you may not make the money back. How quickly can you make the money back? Are you going to make money with this within the next 30 days, the next 60 days? Or do you have to go through the learning curve to figure out how it works, then figure out how to integrate into what you're already doing, then use it? So that's another question. How quickly can I make my money back? I'm paying $30 a month for this service, this product, this feature. Is it making me money, or is it just something that looks cool to do? And I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to waste money. If you're an agent, if you're a solo agent, you're going to try some things out that's going to work, some things not going to work. I've done some. I'm doing a subscription right now to a text service, a phone text service, just to see how it works. I'm gonna see if it's worth adding it to my tech stack. I'm gonna give it a good 30, 60 days, and after 60 days, I'm gonna figure out, okay, it's worth the money or it's not worth the money. But I'm experienced using software like this. I know how to integrate it quickly. That's another thing. Let's take a step back. If you're brand new and you're still trying to get your workflow and your tech stack together, you don't know how quickly to put something together and take it apart. You don't know, you're not at the point where you can look at it and say, okay, I'm already doing this. I can see where I can easily move this over and I can test it out real quickly. Once you get to that point, as far as an agent, you can look at new software. You can quickly understand, okay, this is what they're doing. This is what I'm already doing. If I was to subscribe to this, I would just have to connect this to Zapier, move this around, and I can quickly see if it's going to be worth the money. That's where I'm at right now. So I got this new software I'm using. I'm going to give it a 60-day run. And after 60 days, I'm going to see if it's worth keeping. But I know how to use it already. So that's another thing you got to think about. So I can probably get my money back with this quickly, but it's gonna be another subscription, and it somewhat duplicates what I already do, but I got a little bit more control over the texting. So we're gonna see, all right. And finally, how much it costs. You notice now, I talked about the cost last, because in this business you're gonna spend money. You're gonna spend money. Okay, that's just part of the deal. My overhead is office lease, internet, light bill, and software. A lot of software subscriptions. So that's just part of the business. So I said cost to last because when you look at cost, you have to ask yourself, this is how much it costs. This is how much I'm already making. How can I make this subscription profitable for me? Even if it's $100 a month, $300 a month, if you're at that level, you can still ask yourself, I'm paying $300 a month. But what it's going to do for me, it's going to duplicate my efforts. It's going to make my job easier. I can reach more clients. I can get more appointments. I can get more policy reviews, things of that nature. I can make that $300 back pretty quickly. So price is the last thing. If you're just starting out, I need to do a video about, I guess rookie agents or first year agents, what you should be spending your money on. If you're a first year agent and you are spending your own money on leads and software, I would be slow to ramp up adding monthly subscriptions. Okay, I will keep it basic. The basics for a first year agent is really gonna be leads. It's going to be a CRM. If you're not getting a free one, a CRM, that's going to be a cost. Zapier or some type of service that does automations. Zapier is going to be part of that stack. A quoting tool. Some FMOs offer that for free, but you may have your own quoting tool. So those are costs that's going to be in there. Those are costs you're going to have as a year one agent. If you are paying for your own leads, your own technology. Now, of course, if you LOA, if you're working for an agency and they're providing you with the free leads, the free software, that may not apply to you. But if you're a brand new agent and you are paying for your own equipment, your own leads, everything else, you want to keep that tech stack low. We want to do freemium and free software for the first year as long as we can. So that's gonna be meaning using Canva, CapCut. I'm gonna do another video about that. But we're gonna be using free software, living off the fat of the land. So, in review, the 4 ways to avoid Bright Shiny Object Syndrome is ask yourself how steep is the learning curve. Will it duplicate or remove something I'm already doing? Will it make me money quickly? And how much does it cost each month? So hopefully this helped you out. If you're on your way to the next appointment, I wish you the best and get you that sale. If you're about to get back on the phone, make some calls, make those dials, get that commission. And I catch you guys on the next audio.